It's going to be a big thing for the Fever if Sophie Cunningham can't play. She's the only person that can run the offense when Caitlin Clark's not on the floor.
Sophie Cunningham did go down in the preseason game where the Fever played the Atlanta Dream with an ankle injury.
Not great situation with Sophie Cunningham being injured.
Just minutes ago, the Indiana Fever confirmed what fans feared most. Sophie Cunningham is officially out, and it's not just for a game.
Not great news for the WNBA.
One of the key players for the Indiana Fever is out.
Will Sophie Cunningham be in the season opener after drilling a half-court shot at practice?
What looked like a minor ankle tweak has become a full-blown crisis, shaking the team's chemistry and putting even more pressure on rookie sensation in Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark takes the floor that maybe is different not only from any player in the WNBA, but from any player in basketball. The Indiana Fever are where they are because of Caitlin Clark. The WNBA is where it is because of Caitlin Clark. The Iowa situation is what it is because of Caitlin Clark.
The footage from practice had fans hopeful. Sophie was hitting half-court shots, bouncing around, smiling. But behind the scenes, the coaching staff saw something else.
But this right here, it did not look bad. Like, as far as like ankle rolls go, it's not that bad. It looks as minor as an ankle roll can be.
And now with the season's biggest matchups on the horizon, Caitlin Clark is left wondering how she's going to carry this team alone. What began as a small injury has just created a major storm.
Not an ideal situation, not an ideal. She was down. She went down pretty hard, but she was trying to get back into the game.
Just days ago, Sophie Cunningham was all smiles during practice, draining half-court shots, bringing energy to the floor, and laughing with teammates. To fans, she looked ready. To coaches, she looked promising. But what no one saw coming was the quiet concern building behind the scenes.
And if you guys didn't hear from Sophie Cunningham's celebratory, screaming, she says, "I told you guys I'm ready to play." And apparently Scott Agnes was there. He is a reporter in Indianapolis. He posted on X saying that he heard Caitlin Clark say, "I think her ankle is fine."
That ankle injury she brushed off, it wasn't healing. In fact, it was getting worse. And now the Fever have made it official. Sophie is out indefinitely. Just like that, one of Indiana's most experienced and fiery players has been sidelined, and the weight of that loss is already being felt, especially by Caitlin Clark.
Sophie Cunningham being one of the more important players to this team. If she doesn't play, it's going to be a tough one for the Fever.
Sophie wasn't just a shooter or a rotational piece. She was supposed to be a key part of Indiana's veteran backbone. Her ability to stretch the floor, bring defensive grit, and ignite the locker room gave the Fever a balance they desperately needed. Especially with Clark still adjusting to the pace and pressure of the pro level, having a veteran like Cunningham on the court made everything smoother.
Sophie Cunningham, man, she actually looks okay in this new video. Sophie Cunningham actually putting up some shots, bouncing on that ankle, walking around just fine. I like how she looks, man. We have, 3 more days? I think they play Saturday. So a couple more days, man, a few more days before she actually have to get on the court. I think she might be okay.
But with Sophie gone, that dynamic changes fast. The floor spacing tightens. The rotations shuffle, and Clark once again is forced to do more with less. Insiders say the injury, originally believed to be manageable, worsened during back-to-back practices.
Sophie Cunningham went down with what did not look like the greatest injury. She went down, rolled her ankle after landing on Ryan Howard's.
The Fever's medical staff advised rest, but as soreness turned to swelling and stiffness, it became clear that a serious setback was looming. And with the regular season ramping up, the team couldn't afford to gamble. The decision was made: pull Sophie now or risk losing her for the entire year.
She's shooting right behind you. What was Sophie able to do?
Put me on the sideline and talk. That's about all. I'm ready to play. Sit over there and just talk the whole time. I'm going crazy. Yes, she's going crazy. Again, she just continues to be a day-to-day. She makes every 24 hours. She continues to make great progress. So we'll just, it's a long season. So we want to make sure that we're making the best long-term decisions when it comes to her health and wellness and her ability to produce for our team.
Stephanie White talking about it. Obviously, this is from Grant Young on Sports Illustrated. Preseason wasn't really perfect because Most would agree the most important part is making sure players stay healthy. Fever superstar Caitlin Clark's been dealing with tight quad, but soon after the injury occurred, Sophie Cunningham hobbled to the Fever's locker room, did not return to the game. I would assume she's going to be fine. I said it when I saw the injury. I'm like, it does not look that bad.
Caitlin Clark, who had already developed strong chemistry with Cunningham in early drills, is reportedly frustrated but focused. She knows how valuable Sophie was, not just for her game, but for her attitude. Cunningham brought fire to the court. She talked trash, got under opponents' skin, and played with an edge that created space for Clark to operate.
This is BS. Not sure why overcautious team is not the soft. It's not about being soft. Hold the line. Sophie's so competitive, you got to protect her from herself. Her ankle isn't a problem for an uncontested shot. It's her defense. We've got to retest the ankle. Hate the risk setback where we don't have her for the Liberty game on the 24th. So it's very, very clear that Sophie Cunningham wants to play this game.
Without her, the pressure to lead, to score, and to be the emotional anchor falls heavier on Caitlin's shoulders. And fans have noticed. Social media is buzzing with questions. Can Clark handle this alone? Who steps up now? How does this impact Indiana's playoff hopes?
Sophie Cunningham has not really been practicing with the team. She's been showing up. She's been walking around, no boot, totally fine, not limping. But she did take part in today's practice, or at least today's half-court element of practice. So she is kind of like getting her workout on. Her defense is great. Like, she can also spot up, and they're doing a motion offense. So they'll all be like moving around from position to position.
The truth is, there are no easy answers. Sophie's injury is more than a roster hit. It's a psychological one. The Fever were building something, fast-paced, aggressive, dangerous, and Sophie was right in the middle of that identity. Now that structure is rattled, and all eyes turn to Caitlin Clark to hold it together.
She can shoot the ball. Obviously, she brings a level of energy, defensive intensity. She's pugnacious.
I'm loving the process. It's Wednesday, and she's able to walk and do a small little bounce shot on it. That's good. Loving what I'm seeing. Glad that she can walk on it, do a little bounce on it, keeping it real simple.
Sophie Cunningham shooting a full court shot or a half court shot, winning the contest. And for somebody who shoots from as deep as Caitlin Clark does, she's really bad at shooting from half court. She seems absolutely fine.
Smooth.
Sophie Cunningham's sudden absence isn't just a setback. It's a strategic nightmare for the Indiana Fever. She was more than a spark plug. She was the vocal leader, the fighter, the one who brought toughness to every possession.
Sophie made the half-court shot, and she said, I told you guys I'm ready to play. Like, do you anticipate her playing tomorrow, or what's her status?
I mean, you take off 3 days of practice and then come and try to get the money at half-court shot. I think that's a little fraudulent. I don't know. I think that she's made great progress. I think the biggest thing is perspective, right? Like, we don't want to do anything that will set her back, that will hinder her progress. I think we have, 6 games in the first 14 days. So we'll be cautious. The last 48 hours have been really good. So the training staff will look at her in the morning, and then we'll make a decision from there.
While Caitlin Clark has been carrying the spotlight, it was Sophie who handled the dirty work. She drew charges, pushed the pace, and lit a fire under the team when the energy dipped. Now with her gone, that grit is missing, and it shows. Behind closed doors, the coaching staff is scrambling.
They're competitive, and it felt a little bit different without Sophie out there, just because she brings so much energy, and she's like this big bright light that comes in. So that felt a little bit different, but as far as our attention to detail and our focus, and our energy and competitiveness, no.
So that says it all, right? Right there. The energy, what she brings, it's different without her out there. And you can just feel those vibes coming from Sophie Cunningham, whether it's out on the court or around the team.
Sophie's role was uniquely difficult to replicate. She could guard multiple positions, knock down clutch threes, and bring a veteran's edge without needing the ball in her hands constantly. Her presence gave Clark room to breathe, space on the court, balance in the offense, and backup when the physicality ramped up.
Hopefully, we can get her out on that court. Because like I said, man, do not underestimate the sky. That's a good sign. Hope she's able to go on Saturday. But her full recovery is the most important. Yeah, if she can't do it, you cannot underestimate these teams this year, man. They are loaded. Okay? They are loaded. Ankle sprain recovery can't be rushed. Their staff knows what to do. Yeah.
Without that, the offense now leans harder on Caitlin's shoulders. And while Clark has shown she can handle pressure, there's a difference between carrying a team with help and carrying one alone. Early footage from practice shows the gaps already forming. Ball movement has slowed. Defensive rotations look unsure. And the younger players who now have to fill Sophie's spot are visibly feeling the weight.
In practice for the Indiana Fever, the team was shooting their half-court shots as they do. And who makes it? Sophie Cunningham from half court. She says, "I told you guys I'm ready to play."
The chemistry that was building quickly between Cunningham and Clark, especially in transition play, is now disrupted. Instead of developing rhythm, the team is being forced to rebuild its identity mid-stride. And that's where Caitlin Clark's role becomes even more complicated. Not only is she expected to lead on the stat sheet, she now has to lead emotionally. Reports say she's staying late after practice, helping teammates adjust, and keeping the locker room upbeat. But how long can she keep that up without wearing down? She's a rookie, not a miracle worker. And while her maturity is beyond her years, the WNBA is brutal, especially when your supporting cast keeps shrinking.
It's funny, today I got breakfast and like you said, someone said, "Good morning, Sophie." I didn't correct them, just kept moving on with my day. But, that's happened a lot, not only from people just in the city, but also our staff. It just things that happen really quick, and especially on film, it's hard. So it's going to be a funny little bit throughout the season.
Meanwhile, fans are sounding off. Caitlin needs help, one post reads. She's doing too much already. Another comment, they better not burn her out before the playoffs even start. The concern is real, because while Clark is built for big moments, no star can shine alone for long, not in this league. And without Sophie Cunningham by her side, the challenges are mounting fast. The Fever now face a choice. Will they bring in a veteran replacement? Can they trust their bench to step up?
You have to protect your players. That should be priority number one, and priority number two should be the entertainment value of the game. The physicality of the game is not a selling point in the WNBA.
Or will they gamble on Clark's ability to hold the team together through sheer willpower? Either way, this isn't just an injury. It's a pivotal moment in the Fever's season and in Caitlin Clark's journey as the face of a franchise in real time. The timing of Sophie Cunningham's injury couldn't be worse. Just as the Fever were beginning to find their rhythm, just as the chemistry between Clark and the core rotation was locking into place.
Diamond DeShields out with a right ankle injury, Anissa Morrow out with a right knee injury, and Amy Okongwu questionable with a left hip injury. We already heard that the Aces had a huge blow with Meg Gustafson going down with injury. Also, Georgia Amore was hurt before the preseason even started. She will be out for the season.
Everything is now in flux. It's not just the loss of a player, it's the sudden void of a personality that anchored the team's emotional edge. Cunningham was fearless, and she played like it. She brought a swagger that balanced Caitlin Clark's focus and precision with pure attitude.
It is going to be an interesting one to see whether she plays or not. I would say maybe there's some obvious, kind of a hope that she plays.
Losing that edge doesn't just affect the scoreboard, it affects the team's identity. Without Sophie on the floor, Clark now walks into every game with a target even larger on her back. Defenders are getting more physical. Opposing teams know the Fever are weakened.
They're probably in a rehabilitating, process. Hey, let's take it smooth. These few days, let's take it real easy. Let's just see you get some bounce shots. Just bounce on it a little.
And instead of backing off, they're pressing harder, double-teaming Clark, bumping her off screens, throwing every trick in the book to wear her down. The problem? Without Cunningham, who was one of the few willing to respond with physicality of her own, there's no one left to push back. Clark is being forced to absorb it all and still lead.
Sophie Cunningham has not really been practicing with the team. She's been showing up. She's been walking around, no boot, totally fine, not limping. But she did take part in today's practice, or at least today's half-court element of practice. So she is kind of getting her workout on. Her defense is great. She can also spot up, and they're doing a motion offense. So they'll all be moving around from position to position.
To her credit, Caitlin hasn't complained. Not once. She's showing up, delivering highlight plays, and shouldering the expectations with the same poise that made her a star in college. But behind the scenes, even she knows how much of a blow this is. In post-practice interviews, Her tone has shifted.
Sophie Cunningham is a big part of the Indiana Fever.
She's supportive, but you can hear the fatigue creeping in. She's being asked to lead like a veteran, perform like an MVP, and now emotionally carry a locker room that just lost one of its loudest voices.
In broadcast, you dislocated your middle finger knuckle.
Yeah.
When did you do that? Like,
China. Yeah.
What was that experience like, just coming back from that and doing that rehab?
I didn't do rehab. No one fixed it. No one helped me. I don't know what you want me to do, but I don't have any rehab for it. No one helped me out in China, so I just here.
So is it still dislocated?
Probably healing on its own now. It's just nothing I can really do about it.
And let's not forget the long-term impact. Sophie Cunningham isn't just out for a few games. She could be sidelined for the entire season, depending on how her ankle responds to treatment. That's a huge chunk of experience and intensity gone. The Fever, already a young team relying heavily on a rookie to lead, are now being asked to reinvent themselves once again. Other players will have to rise, yes, but without Sophie, the margin for error is gone. Caitlin Clark can't afford an off night. She can't rest. She can't coast through matchups.
A lot of these players who are playing in off-season leagues won't have to do that, and they can really focus on just taking care of themselves, getting rest, training, lifting, doing all of those little things, and getting ready for the WNBA season.
Every game now becomes a test of stamina, leadership, and resilience. And while she has the talent to pass that test, the road ahead just got much rougher. Injuries are part of the game, but this one hit deeper than most. Because Sophie wasn't just a teammate. She was Caitlin's shield, her fire, and her edge. And with her gone, the Fever are about to learn just how heavy the weight of a franchise can be when it rests on one player's shoulders.
Did you learn in her rookie season that you can help support her and be there for her in this coming season?
Well, I think, there's a lot of room for improvement there. I think particularly in the officiating. I've kind of noticed a little bit of a difference. It looks like they're really officiating the game like it should be officiated, because I think if you make the game more fluid, people are going to like the product even more than it is right now.
Sophie Cunningham's injury didn't just shake the Indiana Fever, it changed everything. What was once a rising, balanced team now rests on the shoulders of a single rookie who's already carrying the league's attention. Caitlin Clark may have the talent, the leadership, and the will, but even stars need support. And now with Sophie out, the question isn't just how Clark will perform, it's how long she can carry the weight without breaking. One thing's for sure, the fight just got harder, and Caitlin Clark is stepping into it alone. Eyes on the court. Because what happens next will define more than just a season. It may define a legacy.